Okay, I am here with our resident Ironman, and he actually has the medal to prove it. So, as many of you know, Nick recently completed an Ironman, which is an incredible feat. And we just want to kind of go through your story, kind of tell everybody, how you trained for it, what this event was really like. Most people have heard of a triathlon.
Yep.
Okay. So what's the difference between a triathlon and a marathon? Because there's a big difference.
Yeah, so a triathlon is, like an Olympic triathlon is a 0.93 mile swim, a 24.8 mile bike ride, and then a 10K, like a 6.2 mile run.
So something you could probably do before breakfast.
Yeah, just an easy little event.
Okay, so let's talk about an actual Ironman. What are the distances in an
That
actual?
is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile
Hold
bike
on.
ride.
2.4 mile swim.
Yep, 2.4.
It's a long ways.
Can't be just 2.4.
2.4. And then the
112 mile bike ride.
okay, wow,
And
112.
26.2 full marathon at the end.
So if the swim wasn't enough to kill you, then you've got the bike, 110 miles.
Well, 112, don't cheat me.
I don't want to cheat you out of that. And then run a full marathon.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what in the world prompted you to even consider doing something this crazy?
2 years ago, we did a regular Olympic size.
Who's we?
My brother and I.
Okay.
So just a regular triathlon. And then it moved into, we did a half Ironman. Like, yeah, someday we should do a full one. So we signed up and there it was. That's all it took.
So was there qualifications to actually do the try?
No, well, you had to
The
be the
Ironman?
first one to sign up is all.
Okay.
They only give away like 3,000 slots, I think.
That
They
means there's
had-
3,000 crazy people doing
Yeah,
this.
they have qualifying spots to
Okay.
qualify for Hawaii, the big one.
Yep.
There's like 50 qualifying spots in Madison. So
Okay.
each one has 50 to 60 qualifying
So
spots.
is there
Age,
age?
yep.
Okay. Is it only age?
Well, I think then they have like the Clydesdale and the Athenas. That's the good way for saying overweight.
Clearly, you're not a Clydesdale. So in terms of participants, was there 3,000?
Just over 3,000.
3,000.
Yep.
Okay. And exactly where was it?
In Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And of those 3,000, just over 3,000, I think they said there was 2,990 finishers.
That's impressive. Very impressive. So let's talk about the first event. Let's talk about the swim.
Oh, the swim. Good
I can't
time.
even imagine the swim.
The race starts at 7. Gun goes off at 7.
Okay.
So you're down there at 5 o'clock is when everything opens to make sure you got all your stuff. Everything's
Right.
good to go. And then they start piling 3,000 people into the water. Just shuffling them in. So it means you have to either sit on the side or you have to tread water for 20, 30 minutes. So I swam a little bit to warm up, and then I just sat there and tread water. And I stayed off to the side and to the back a little bit because I didn't want to get, swam over.
Okay, so I want you to picture this. 3,000
Yep.
people in a body of water,
Yep.
and clearly there's people behind that are going to be faster than some of the people in front.
Yep.
So
To
what?
get if you wanted to be towards the front, you just had to push your way.
Push away,
And
okay.
get your way in there.
Okay.
I was probably third or fourth back.
Okay.
I wasn't up towards the front.
So the gun goes off. Tell me what
Then
happens.
the gun goes off and everybody starts. You hit your watch and you go. You get kicked in the face. You get dunked. You get put. It was like this the whole time.
For
For the first mile and a half,
Oh,
at least
mile and
a
a half.
mile. That's how it was, the whole time.
Okay, so now obviously, I mean, that's pretty serious. I mean, people could drown.
Oh, yeah.
So,
They had a lot of people out there. I couldn't
Let-
see exactly how many because
Okay.
I was just focused on swimming.
yep.
Just
So
swim.
lifeguards and
Yeah, lifeguards on
buoys?
paddle boats and
Okay.
boats, and they had buoys you could grab onto.
Okay.
You can grab onto anything as long as you don't advance forward.
Okay.
Then you get disqualified.
Okay.
So if you advance on the paddleboard or whatever, but
Okay.
if I could have gotten up, I could have ran the first mile. There's that many people. I could have just walked across people and just kept going.
Strategy for next time. Maybe
Yeah,
let's
maybe.
maybe
There
try
won't be a
that.
next time.
Okay, so let's talk about time. How long does like the swim? How long did
The
that
swim
take?
took me, I think, an hour and 33 minutes.
Hour and 33 minutes.
Yep.
Of
So
pure pleasure. Hour and
it was just one big lap. So
Okay.
just one huge, and it just seems like you're going forever. I don't know if you've ever walked a mile. Just imagine swimming that. You're going
no,
2 miles per hour.
right.
You know, it's
So let's talk about like just in comparison, like an elite swimmer. What does an elite swimmer do that?
I think
what was the first guy out of the water?
fastest time I think was 49 minutes, or something.
That's cruising.
So I think that's why they used to do 2 laps, but I
Right.
think they took that away because it was kind of demoralizing people when people got lapped.
Sure, right.
So I think they made it one big lap.
Now,
instead.
and you're a good swimmer.
Yeah, I'm a fairly
So,
strong swimmer. I'm
yeah.
not-
So an hour and 30. I mean, that's a good time.
Yeah.
So to put that in perspective,
Yeah,
that guy was cruising.
Hour and 33 minutes. So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
he beat me by 40 minutes almost.
that's amazing. So let's talk about you done with the swim. What's the transition like?
Yeah, so you get out of the swim and you have the option to either take off your own wetsuit or you can have the volunteers rip it off you. And I figured, hey, I'm only gonna do it once. I might as well take it off. You lay down, and 1 second later, the thing's off you. There's 2 people ripping it off you.
my
Then you
gosh.
just grab it and you have to run up to the parking ramp and you have to go up the spiral parking ramp to the 5th floor. From the 5th floor, you have to go over to get your bag. You grab your bag, you have to go into the changing room. From the changing room, you go back outside. Then there's a line of volunteers, 15, 20 people with sunscreen. So if you want sunscreen, they do that. It's kind of like NASCAR. You pull up, and then you're gone. Then you grab your bike. Then you run with your bike all the way across the parking lot. And then you go all the way down 5 floors to the other side, and then you're out.
So let's talk about from the water to the time you're on the bike is approximately
I
how
think
long?
it took me about 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
In a regular, standard, even when I did the half Ironman, you usually
Right.
have all your stuff in one spot. Your
Yep.
bike, your shoes, everything.
Yep.
Takes 4 minutes.
Now, for instance, how do you even find your stuff? I mean, there's 3,000.
Yeah, so the night before,
Participants on
you
your
go in and you put your bags
In a
numbered. Yeah, you got
specific
everything
spot.
numbered, you got your own bag, and then they had, 20, 30, 40 people inside there. So they'd see you coming, they yell out your number, they'd grab your bag and have it, so everything was smooth. You didn't have to look for anything, but just the running and then moving and then going and then, usually one
Yeah.
stop. This one had, 3 or 4.
It's amazing. So, in terms of the volunteers, it sounds like very efficient.
Oh, yeah, it was
getting
great.
from
Yep.
station. Now, after the swim, 2.4 miles,
Yep.
are you hungry? How was your blood sugar? Were you drinking
Well,
a lot after
I
that?
had to
or-
pee because I drank all the water and I was swimming,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
That was the first and only time I peed the whole day.
Really?
13 hours and I peed once.
Now, was this in a designated spot, or did you?
Yeah,
not-
the lake.
Okay, you got in the lake. Okay, well that's good. I didn't know if it was just
Right
in the
before I
pants.
came out, I slowed down a little bit.
Now, what lake was this, so we know not to swim in that?
Lake
I'm sure,
Monona.
that
Yeah, it
was
was probably full of pee that day.
fairly polluted. Okay, so from the transition, now we're into the bike.
Yep.
What's the transition
So the-
like? So you're on the bike.
Ride, yeah, 112 miles. You go 16 miles out of town,
Okay,
and then it's 2 40-mile loops, and then it's back into town.
okay. So people that don't know kind of the topography of Madison,
Yep.
let's talk about the hills.
There was, Ironman claims it is the hardest bike course there is for Ironman. So it's the hardest. It was rolling hills the whole time.
Okay, so hold on, no, because that's a pretty strong statement. I
Yep.
mean, look at how many Ironmans there are.
Well, even the one in Colorado isn't as hard as the one in Madison.
That's
For the
that's,
bike.
That's insane.
Yep.
Because now we're talking not just going 112 miles.
Yep.
We're talking about some serious climbs.
Oh yeah, oh, lots of big climbs.
So, like with bikes, let's talk about some of the gear people have. on
Yep.
you know, like with the bikes. I mean,
Oh yeah, you see everything.
pretty
The
fancy.
big fancy helmet that has the whip all the way down.
So that's more for aerodynamics.
Oh yeah, that's what they
Okay.
claim. I pass
Okay.
a lot of them, so it must
Okay.
not have worked. So that and you want to hold as much food and supplies on your bike as you can. So I had one 20-ounce water bottle full of like those goo packs.
Yep.
I had 10 goo packs in with that.
What's a goo pack?
Goo pack is like a carb, sugary,
Yep.
just to kind of help maintain the
Yep.
blood sugar
Yep.
levels. So 10 of those mixed with my water. I had the 20-ounce thing of Ultima, and I had a 20-ounce thing of the branched chain amino acids.
Very good.
So that's what I had
Okay.
on my bike for those three. After I got rid of the Ultima and my branched chain amino acids, then I had 3 water bottles along the way. Every 12 to 15 miles, there's a stop where you
Yep.
can stop. So I just grabbed water and went along with there. And then after that, so I drank 3 of those. So I drank, 120 to 140 ounces of fluid on my bike, just on the bike alone.
So let's talk about in terms of the transitions where you can actually. Did you actually get off your bike
No,
at all?
I
Ever?
kept going. You can stop and get, but they have volunteers there, and then they'll run alongside your bike and hand you whatever you need. So I just kept going. I didn't stop till mile 85, is when the first time I got off my
Okay.
bike. I ate a banana because I knew I had 2 monster hills coming up. So I stretched, ate a banana, drank water.
How did
I
you
got
know that?
That
Like
was the
course,
second loop.
Okay,
So
so
that
you
was
knew
my
the
second time
you
around.
knew
I
the-
knew they were the 2 biggest hills. And it was kind of like a Tour de France. You have people on every side of you. So there's enough room for you or another bike, and that's it. People yelling and cheering, and it was wild.
So clearly, when you get to that point, you're pretty tapped out
Yeah.
physically.
Yep.
So what does that crowd do to you? I mean, is that?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
the bike ride, for being how long it was, I was on it for 6 hours and 10 minutes, or 6 hours and something. It actually wasn't too bad. The first 16 miles out, it's kind of, you're by yourself, kind of.
right.
They say to use the first 40 miles as a warm up. I lasted about 10, and I thought it was too boring, so then I started going. And then you get out to the loops, and there's just people everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. Crazy signs, crazy people yelling, and there's clowns coming out of the woods trying to get you in there. It just takes your mind off of the pain that you're feeling in your legs.
So a lot of these people that are dressed up as clowns or,
Yeah.
or crazy signs and stuff, they probably have either done an event like this
Yeah.
or family members.
Yep, there's either somebody. If you volunteer for the event the year before, then the next year you get first priority for registering.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
they sell out. So that's a way
Sure.
to get in, to make sure you're in for sure.
Well, the one thing is when you're talking about something that grueling, sometimes you need what's called a pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
And that's enough to interrupt the pattern.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying. I don't think I can make this anymore. Oh, here's a clown in the corn.
Yeah, right.
And you're thinking about that for how long?
Yeah, you think about it for a few minutes, and then there's something else. I mean, there's people everywhere.
Right.
Big signs of people saying, the one guy had a sign that said, on the second lap I'll be naked. Come back around, he had a neon green banana hammock on. So he was close. He was real close.
That's enough
So I thought that
interrupt
qualified.
the pattern. Yeah, very
so
good.
that interrupted it. A lot of women looking for men out there saying, their sign said, you got stamina, call me, and had their
Oh my
phone number on there. So
gosh.
there was a lot of good stuff to keep your mind off.
Yeah.
So,
And something that had to be done.
if it wasn't for the volunteers and the spectators and stuff, it would have been a miserable 6
Yeah.
hours on the bike
Yeah.
ride.
So then it really becomes almost all mental, which is really,
Yeah.
really tough
The
to
last,
handle.
I think it's the last 10 miles back into town, then you're kind of back on your own again. Those are the worst 10 miles. It's like, you
Wow.
can see the town, and it's like, just get me there
Wow.
and get it over with. And then when you think you're done with the hill, you go back to the transition, you got to go up 5 stories to the top of the ramp.
Huge transition.
Yeah, the transitions were wild.